GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening. A yellow thunderstorm warning now covers the city, and the brand new 901 Taschereau bus line is rolling out on the South Shore. Expect minor traffic snarls from tunnel closures and a brief REM hiccup, plus a look at EcoPulse's fresh 2 million seed round. Over to you, Emma.
The MAD Festival returns to Park Jean Drapeau this weekend, showcasing interactive art installations, live music, and family workshops from Friday through Sunday, free admission for all ages.
Event organizers note that the festival runs daily from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m., with scheduled performances on the main stage beginning at 11 a.m.
Several local food trucks will line the promenade, offering vegan, gluten-free, and traditional Quebecois options, while wheelchair-accessible pathways ensure inclusive navigation throughout the park.
Lots to get to, let's begin, and thank you for joining us as we dive into tonight's stories and community highlights. Here are our top stories. A yellow thunderstorm warning now covers Montreal Island as weather officials flag the risk of violent storms across the city. Colette Barbeau has the full story.
Violent thunderstorms are moving across Montreal Island, prompting the province's meteorological service to issue a yellow alert this morning. The warning signals heightened risk of intense rain, strong winds, and possible hail, and residents are being urged to stay indoors and secure loose items. The alert, part of Quebec's color-coded weather system, sits one level below the red emergency status but still calls for heightened vigilance. Officials say the storms could develop rapidly, producing lightning strikes and localized flooding in low-lying neighborhoods. Emergency crews are on standby, and schools and businesses have been advised to monitor conditions closely. The alert remains in effect through the afternoon as the storm system tracks eastward across the island. Colette Barbeau, GMNA News, Montreal. The 901 Taschereau bus line is set to begin service today, creating the first continuous route across Montreal's South Shore. For years, commuters have navigated a patchwork of separate systems, hopping between municipal shuttles and regional buses. This new line stitches those pieces together, running from the eastern suburbs through the central corridor and into the western municipalities, all under a single schedule. Officials say the route will streamline travel for workers, students, and shoppers, cutting transfer times and simplifying fares. Riders can expect modern low-floor vehicles equipped with real-time tracking, and the line will integrate with existing STM and EXO networks at key hubs. The launch marks a milestone in regional coordination, promising smoother connections for thousands of daily travelers on the island's southern fringe. Public outreach has already highlighted strong community enthusiasm for the added convenience.
Mayor Soria Martinez Ferrada will warn today that newly imposed United States customs duties pose an extremely worrying threat to the city's economy. She said the tariffs could ripple through local manufacturers, exporters, and service firms, jeopardizing jobs and slowing growth. The mayor emphasized that many Montreal businesses rely on cross-border supply chains, and higher import costs risk squeezing profit margins and prompting layoffs. She called for swift dialogue with federal officials and American counterparts to seek relief before the measures take full effect. The administration plans to convene a task force next week to assess sector-specific impacts and explore mitigation strategies. Business leaders in the Plateau, Mile End, and the Industrial Corridor have already voiced concern, urging provincial and federal governments to act before the economic fallout deepens soon.
20 suburban mayors from Montreal's north demand greater provincial transit funding as rapid growth strains services in the Laurentides and Lanaudière. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
At a packed town hall in the heart of the North Montreal suburbs, 20 mayors gathered this week to press the provincial government for a boost to public transit budgets. They pointed to soaring population numbers in the Laurentides and Lanaudière regions, saying the current service levels can't keep up with the surge of new riders. With the provincial election campaign now kicking off, the coalition warned that without extra funds, buses and commuter trains will struggle to meet growing demand. The mayors displayed a joint statement outlining specific funding gaps and urged the Premier's office to act before the next fiscal cycle. Their plea underscores the pressure mounting on policymakers as the suburbs expand rapidly. Ramai Gaudreau, GMNA News, Laval.
The Quebec Liberal Party is set to add a new face to its slate as it continues recruiting candidates for the upcoming provincial election. Later today, the party will introduce criminal defense lawyer Nada Baumefta as its nominee in the Maurice Richard riding. Party officials say Baumefta brings extensive courtroom experience and a record of community involvement that they hope will resonate with voters in the eastern part of the island. The announcement comes as the Liberals accelerate their candidate search across the province, aiming to field a full roster before the campaign officially opens. Political analysts note that the Maurice Richard district has been a battleground in recent contests, and the Liberal ticket hopes the fresh perspective will sharpen its appeal. Voters will hear more details at a press event scheduled for this afternoon in the riding's core. Up next, we'll unpack La Salle College's sudden filing for creditor protection and what that means for students, plus more. We will be right back.
Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news. Welcome back. Montreal, Quebec. On August 24, La Salle College, a private post-secondary institution in Montreal, filed for creditor protection in the Quebec Superior Court. The court filing triggered an immediate suspension of all classes at the college, with instruction remaining halted until further notice. The request was made under the province's insolvency legislation, which permits institutions to obtain protection while they restructure. The college's website posted a notice confirming the halt and advising students to await further communications. No further details on the number of students or staff affected have been released. The college's administration has confirmed that the pause applies to every program and campus location. Authorities have not indicated a timeline for resumption of instruction. The situation will be monitored for updates.
5 Montreal police officers are challenging a July suspension stemming from a 2018 high-speed pursuit, arguing the Police Ethics Tribunal erred in imposing 30 to 42-day unpaid suspensions. Nadia Bellafuel has the full story.
5 Montreal police officers are fighting a disciplinary decision that saw them suspended without pay for 30 to 42 days. The officers say the Police Ethics Tribunal erred gravely when it upheld the sanctions stemming from a high-speed pursuit through Plateau Mont-Royal back in 2018. That chase, which cut through residential streets and caused traffic chaos, prompted an internal investigation and ultimately led to the current suspensions imposed in July 2026. The officers have filed an appeal, arguing that the tribunal misapplied the rules and ignored key evidence. The case now heads back to the tribunal for a new review, while the police service awaits the outcome. Nadia Bellafuel, GMNA News, Plateau Mont-Royal. Today, the former Quebec Solidaire MNA Vincent Marisol announced he is leaving the party and will seek the Parti Québécois nomination for the upcoming provincial election. Marisol, who had previously said he would retire from politics, reversed course as the province moves toward a general election. He told reporters his decision reflects a belief that the PQ offers a more effective platform for advancing progressive policies. Party officials said they will welcome him as a candidate in the riding where he previously served. Quebec Solidaire leaders expressed disappointment, noting his earlier retirement pledge, but said they respect his right to choose. The move adds another high-profile shift to the political landscape ahead of the campaign, and the PQ said the addition strengthens its slate of candidates. Analysts note the timing could influence voter dynamics as parties finalize their ballots.
Prime Minister Mark Carney announced today that the federal government will allocate $11.3 billion to Quebec shipyards for the construction of 6 new icebreakers for the Canadian Coast Guard. The funding fulfills a promise first made in 2019 to replace the aging fleet of polar vessels. Officials said the project will create thousands of jobs across the province and ensure year-round navigation on the northern waterways. Shipbuilding firms in Quebec are slated to begin design work within weeks, with the first hull expected to roll out in the early 2027 season. The Coast Guard expects the new icebreakers to extend the safe operating window for commercial shipping and support scientific research in the Arctic. Carney emphasized that the investment underscores Canada's commitment to maritime safety and northern sovereignty.
Quebec Superior Court has authorized a class action lawsuit against drug distributor Cencora and its subsidiary in Namur after a cyber breach exposed personal and medical data of patients across the province. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
The Quebec Superior Court has given the green light for a class action lawsuit targeting drug distributor Cencora and its subsidiary in Namur after a cyberattack compromised the personal and medical records of patients across the province. The breach, which infiltrated the company's computer systems, allowed thieves to walk away with names, health histories, and insurance details. Hundreds of Quebec residents, whose data was exposed, are now moving forward with a collective legal effort to hold the distributors accountable. The court's authorization means the case can proceed as a single action on behalf of all affected individuals, streamlining the process and potentially increasing the pressure on the companies to improve security. Ramai Gaudreau, GMNA News, Montreal.
Now let's turn to the evening forecast and see how that thunderstorm warning could impact us.
A steady high-pressure ridge and a gentle southwest keep Montreal clear and mild this evening. On this date, Montreal's all-time heat record stands at 33 degrees Celsius, set during the 2021 heat wave that pushed the province into unprecedented highs. The cold record is 10.3 degrees Celsius, recorded in the 2013 early autumn dip that followed a sudden Arctic front. Normal highs for late August hover around 22 degrees, with lows near 15. Today's 22-degree high sits well below the historic peak, while tonight's 15-degree low is a few degrees above the coldest ever logged. The live radar shows a broad swath of clear air over southern Quebec, with no echo moving toward the city. A weak ridge of high pressure sits over the St. Lawrence Valley, and the southwest jet at roughly 49 kilometers per hour steers any residual moisture eastward. With the atmosphere stable and moisture scarce, we expect the calm to persist through the evening, clearing the sky for the night. At 6 p.m., Montreal sits at 21 degrees Celsius under a mostly clear sky, humidity 67%, and a gentle southwest breeze of 9 kilometers per hour, gusting to 23. Pressure is near average and holding steady, while the jet stream drifts southwest at roughly 49 kilometers per hour, just above the 500 hectopascal level. This configuration traps warm air near the surface and suppresses lift, keeping clouds at bay. The UV index reads 4, and no weather alerts are active. Tonight will dip to 15 degrees as the ridge slowly slides east, leaving a light nighttime breeze from the south at around 19 kilometers per hour. Conditions remain dry through tomorrow, with the same high pressure governing the early evening. Looking ahead, Tuesday remains under the same high-pressure dome with a high of 22 degrees Celsius and a low of 15, and clouds will keep the sky overcast. Wednesday warms slightly to 24 at the peak, while the low stays 15. A break in the cloud cover will give us mainly clear conditions and a gentle breeze. Thursday brings the most dynamic shift. The ridge lifts, inviting a weak frontal wave that delivers light rain and a 65% chance of precipitation, with temperatures climbing to 26 and a low of 18. Friday returns to clear skies and a comfortable 22 high, dropping to 14 overnight. Saturday mirrors Friday, offering another clear day and the same 22 to 14 temperature swing. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts.
Coming up, traffic updates on tunnel closures, a look at the MAD Festival, and EcoPulse's new 2 million seed round. We will be right back.
Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news. The biggest slowdown right now comes from the Viger Tunnel, closed for construction. Traffic is spilling onto Rue St. Laurent and the nearby Autoroute 26 access points, adding 5 to 10 minutes to east-west trips. Just north, the Ville Marie Tunnel remains shut, forcing drivers onto Rue St. Catherine and the downtown on-ramps to Autoroute 22. Expect heavier flow on Boulevard St. Denis corridor as commuters reroute. The Autoroute Ville Marie access road is also closed, so vehicles heading downtown from the north are using the Descaries and the Descaries-Côte Verte interchange, creating modest queues there. On the transit side, the REM is offline this afternoon, so trains are not running between the South Shore and the airport. Shuttle buses are operating from Terminus Centerville to the airport, but service is limited to peak hours. If you rely on the REM, plan for alternate routes or a longer ride. Roads otherwise are moving freely, but keep an eye on the downtown core as traffic builds toward rush hour.
Tonight we start with the MAD Festival lighting up the Quartier des Spectacles, a free multidisciplinary celebration of music, fashion, visual arts, and performance across downtown Montreal. It's the perfect excuse to wander the streets, discover fresh sounds, and see bold creations without spending a dime. If you're looking ahead, the MUDEC Festival kicks off tomorrow at Place des Arts and runs through the end of the month. This international showcase of electronic music and digital art promises immersive concerts and cutting-edge installations that will redefine the city's soundscape. For families and curious minds, Exporel, the Canadian Railway Museum in St. Henry de Lausanne, remains open, offering historic locomotives and hands-on exhibits that bring Canada's rail heritage to life. And for a thrill-seeker's fix, the MTL zipline experience over the St. Laurent River still runs daily this summer, delivering a bird's-eye view of the city's skyline. Whether you're art-hungry, music-driven, or craving adventure, Montreal has something to spark your evening. And now here's Jason with sports.
The Habs roster, prospects, and future window take center stage this afternoon. Center Owen Beck, a 2022 draft pick, has turned his AHL seasoning into 27 NHL games over the past 2 seasons, netting his first Canadiens goal last year after earlier chances were denied. His steady rise cements him as a viable third-line option heading into training camp. Nick Suzuki climbs to 9th on NHL Network centerman rankings, up from 10th a season ago, underscoring his growing impact in Montreal's top 6. The bump reflects his consistent play and bolsters the Habs' confidence as they shape their offensive core for the upcoming campaign. Veteran forward Yvon Lambert, a beloved figure at Lakeshore General, is recuperating from hip and femur fractures sustained in a recent fall. His steady recovery offers a morale boost for the Canadiens community, reminding fans of the resilience that defines the organization's legacy. Prospect Hayden Popinkies embraces the NCAA jump, eager to test himself against older seasoned competition. The experience aims to accelerate his development, positioning him as a future depth forward for Montreal as the organization eyes sustained contention alongside the Sharks over the next 5 years. 4th-round pick LJ Mooney silenced size skeptics by tallying 30 points in 34 NCAA games as a freshman. His production demonstrates that the Canadiens can extract value from later rounds, potentially earning him a call-up and adding speed to Montreal's bottom 6 forward group. General Manager Craig Button declares the Canadiens' championship window open for the next 6 years, emphasizing that the club's young core is chasing the cup rather than cash. The outlook validates the 2023 draft class's progress and fuels interest in potential PTO additions to deepen the roster. Stay tuned as Montreal builds toward a deep playoff run.
Thanks, Jason. EcoPulse, nestled in the heart of Ville Marie downtown, just steps from the bustling Rue St. Laurent, has just closed a $2 million seed round led by Real Ventures. The funding will accelerate its AI-driven platform that trims energy use in Montreal's office towers, launching pilot projects in several downtown buildings and adding 8 new engineers and data scientists to the team. This infusion of capital not only fast-tracks product development, but also deepens the city's green tech ecosystem, creating high-skilled jobs right here at home. It also partners with local universities, giving students hands-on experience in real-world climate solutions. For Montrealers who care about cleaner streets and cooler summers, EcoPulse shows how local innovation can power a more sustainable future for all of us. Stay tuned as we explore lake drowning at St. Alexis des Monts, an AI election code adopted by Quebec parties. We will be right back.
Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news. Welcome back. Authorities recovered a man's body after he drowned in a lake near St. Alexis des Monts, marking the drowning death recorded in Quebec this year. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
A man was found dead after drowning in a lake near St. Alexis des Monts in the Morrissey region. Responders arrived on the scene late Tuesday evening, August 23rd, after a passerby reported a disturbance on the water. Divers recovered the victim's body early Thursday morning, confirming the fatality. Officials noted this is the drowning recorded in Quebec so far this year. No further details about the individual's identity or the circumstances leading to the incident have been released pending investigation. The lake, a popular spot for fishing and recreation, was temporarily closed while authorities completed their search and secured the area. Law enforcement and rescue teams remain on site, advising the public to avoid the water until further notice. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, St. Alexis des Monts.
4 major Quebec parties, including the Liberal Party and Quebec Solidaire, have pledged to follow a new artificial intelligence election code of conduct, aiming to ensure responsible AI use in campaign activities. Colette Barbeau has the full story.
4 of Quebec's biggest parties, the Liberal Party of Quebec, Coalition Avenir Quebec, the Parti Québécois and Quebec Solidaire have signed on to a new code of conduct governing the use of artificial intelligence in campaign activities. The agreement, unveiled on August 24, 2026, commits each group to transparent data practices, limits on deepfake content, and a pledge to disclose any AI-generated material to voters. The initiative was developed in partnership with Catherine Reges of the Institute for Data Analytics and Open Source, IVADO, which helped draft the guidelines. Party leaders said the framework is intended to keep the election dialogue honest and to prevent misuse of sophisticated algorithms as the province heads into the upcoming vote. Colette Barbeau, GMNA News, Montreal.
Thanks for joining us, Montreal. Tonight we highlighted the launch of the new 901 Taschereau bus line serving the South Shore, a step forward for local transit. Stay tuned for tomorrow's Local Sunset, where we'll bring you more stories that matter to our city. See you then.